What's up? So today I'm going to be talking to you about something that I don't think I've ever talked about on my channel before, at-home waxing. More specifically, at-home bikini waxing. And zooming in even more, I'm going to be talking specifically about the pubic hair wax kit from Flamingo. Shout out to Flamingo for sponsoring this video. I'm so excited to share my experience with this product with you. So just a little bit of background on me. I came into this as a beginner. I have never been waxed before professionally or otherwise. And a lot of the reason is because honestly, I found the prospect to be intimidating and unapproachable. But at home was my preferred way. I just find the prospect of being professionally waxed to be very intimidating. So I really was looking for something like this that was approachable, easy to understand, and that I could do at home myself. So before I get into my review and my tips and my tricks and everything that I've learned throughout this experience, I do want to just briefly discuss what is actually in this box. So the outer shell obviously has the general information. This contains 24 wax strips, 8 post-wax cloths, like little wet wipes, and an easy to follow instruction booklet, which is a super helpful resource. I highly recommend reading the entire thing before you dive into this box. So contained within this is basically the outer shell, is this very organized little compact box. When you open it, this is what it looks like. The first thing you see is the instruction booklet. It has very helpful pictures, things to do before you wax, things to do during the waxing process, and aftercare. The wax comes in these ready-to-use strips and in 3 different shapes. You've got the bigger rectangle, a smaller rectangle, and then this little square. So as I said, these are ready to use. You do not have to heat them, microwave them, warm them up in your hands. You don't have to do anything to them. Just peel them and you're ready to go. These are what the post-wax cloths look like. Like I said, these are essentially wet wipes. They are very well saturated and they're quite large, and they definitely help with soothing the skin as well as removing excess wax. Before I get to my review of the product, I do want to quickly run you through the general directions, just basically how to use it. And before that, a note. So this is not 100% not intended to be used to give a full Brazilian bikini wax. It's not intended for internal use. It is not intended for total hair removal. It is basically intended as like a manicure type kit, a maintenance type kit, clean up around the perimeter type kit. It's just not a Brazilian bikini wax kit. Okay, so as far as directions go, they're pretty basic. The first one is just ensuring that you have the right conditions. So what does that mean? Make sure that your hair is the proper length. So the proper length of hair is between 2 and 6 millimeters. Now, if you don't know what that looks like, don't worry, you're not alone. I didn't know what that looked like either. Thankfully for us, there is this handy little instruction booklet, and on the very first page down at the bottom, there is a guide that says 2 to 6 millimeters with a little physical representation of what that looks like. So if your hair is too long, give it a little bit of a trim. If it is too short, wait, be patient, because in either extreme circumstance, whether it's too short or too long, it's not going to work as well as it would if you were in those parameters. That is very important. I found that through all of my trials that was honestly the most important factor in the success of using this kit. The next thing is you need to make sure that your skin is clean and very, very dry. So you should not do this immediately post shower. You should wait until you are super dry. So at least 20 to 30 minutes after you shower, so that your skin is basically back to baseline. The next step, you're going to want to kind of pick out your surface area, kind of go through a route in your head of what you actually want to wax in that session. And I recommend doing small sections. I just find that it's more successful that way. I really like the smaller strips personally. They're my favorites. If you are a beginner, if you are using this kit for the very first time, regardless of what you want to use, I highly recommend starting small. I think that it's important. I think that learning how to do smaller areas and building up the confidence to actually wax yourself in those small circumstances leads you to be able to use the bigger strips more confidently and effectively. So to apply the strip, you're going to look at the hair and make sure you know what direction the hair is growing in, because you are going to apply the wax strip in the direction the hair grows in. And you're going to want to do that really firmly just so it completely adheres to the hair. If you don't apply it firmly, it won't adhere to the hair all the way, and you won't remove as much hair as you want to, and you will probably be left with wax residue. After you apply the strip, you're going to need to hold your skin as taut as possible. So that may mean stretching your leg out. It may mean finding a different way to position your body and holding your skin up, pulling it taut maybe. I like to stretch my leg out and pull my skin just so I have it as taut as humanly possible. And then when you are ripping the strip off, you're going to want to hold it as close to your skin as possible and pull parallel to the skin. Also, when you pull, you're obviously going to be pulling in the opposite direction that your hair grows. So you're going to go against the grain as opposed to with the grain. So you're putting the strip on the hair the way it grows and pulling it off the opposite way. Firmly and tightly on taut skin. And that's really the last instruction in terms of like the actual waxing portion. You may need to wax the same area more than once. Flamingo recommends all over their website to wait at least 24 hours if you're going to do this, just to minimize the potential for irritation, all of that stuff. Now, after you've waxed, they recommend using the post-wax cloths. They have like aloe and some other nourishing ingredients in them that soothe the skin and just make things a lot more comfortable. And that's really the instructions. That's the basic gist of how to use these strips. Now let's talk about my experience with them. Okay, so I'm going to do a live reaction demo just of, like I said, my reaction to doing this. So I'm gonna use one of the small rectangles and I'm just going to apply it and remove it, and you're gonna see my reaction to it. So I think one of my biggest misconceptions about doing this was that it was going to be really painful, and that's intimidating, right? So I'm not gonna lie, it does take a measure of bravery to do this yourself, and that's just kind of something that you adapt to as you do it more. I'm just gonna separate my strip and you're gonna see my reaction. Just make sure it's firmly applied. Okay, my reaction time. 1, 2, 3. You know, some affirmations might help if you say like you got this or whatever. Like, I'm used to it now, but if you don't feel like you've got this, just tell yourself you got this. There we go. There's one. The biggest part is just making sure that the strips are firmly applied. So make sure that it's going in the right direction and that it's firmly applied, and then just remove it. Okay, that was my reaction to doing that. It's not scary. Like, it's really, I genuinely do not think it's that bad. And then you just take your post-wax cloth. If there's any irritation at all, this should help soothe it. And if there's any residual wax, it should also help with that as well. So now you all can listen to me review this product. The way I like to use this kit is basically on the perimeter of my bikini line. So the fold where my hip meets my abdomen, the area at the very top of my bikini line, that's where I like to use it. So it's basically like a triangle around. And the reason that I've been looking for an option like this for that area is because I am so prone to razor burn, ingrown hairs, irritation, just generally speaking in that area. And waxing, one of the benefits of it is that it doesn't cause those same issues. So my journey with this has actually been going on for a little while. I've tried it in a lot of different ways. I've tried it many times at this point. And so I can tell you that for me, it was a journey of trial and error, and it was not always easy. I would say that it was a bit of a challenge at first, but now that I'm used to it, it is very easy. And I'm confident doing it, which I think is really important in the whole process. So the first time I did it, my hair was too short. So I had a lot of residual wax. I don't know if it even pulled any hair at all. I did learn, though, that to remove residual wax, not only do you have the post-wax cloths that help remove it and are actually pretty effective, but you can also use the side of the strip that doesn't have any wax on it to just dab on that residual wax, and it helps remove it. The second time I tried it was not a smashing success either, because I didn't press the strip firmly enough onto the hair, so it didn't adhere all the way. And when I pulled, it left behind residual wax and also didn't wax as much hair as I wanted. That again is easy enough to fix. You just remove the residual wax. And then, as I think I've said earlier, Flamingo recommends you wait 24 hours before waxing the same area again. So I just did that and it was fine. The third time was good. We're good. So it was a bit of a learning curve. I will say that I think the 3 most important parts of this, or the 3 most important factors to get right when doing this, is 1, hair length. Make sure your hair is in that proper range. 2, doing small sections, in my opinion, is most consistently successful. And then 3 is body positioning. So that is kind of a journey. I highly recommend kind of sitting down and figuring out how to position your body to where the area that you want to wax is taut before you even try. It's gonna look different for everyone because all of our bodies are different. I'm sure some stand up, some lay down, some put a leg up, some do, you know, whatever. Personally, I like to sit with my leg. These are my legs. I like to sit with my legs spread so that my thigh is stretched out because I find that that stretches the skin in the area that I'm looking to wax. And I just pull a little bit on my stomach. I pull up so that that skin is completely taut, and that is how I do it. So that method works best for the areas that I have been looking to wax and the areas that I have been waxing. But it's really just about getting that skin as taut as you possibly can. And like I said, it will look different for everyone. Ever since I figured out that whole situation, ever since I figured out the hair length, the surface area, and my body positioning, I have had great success with this and I really, really like it. Not only has it absolutely minimized the irritation that I experience, I actually don't experience any residual irritation from this, but I also don't have to wax very often. Not only does it help with the irritation, but it also extends my periods of having to remove hair, which I personally appreciate. I'm sure everyone appreciates that. I mean, now the last thing that I really want to talk about before I sign off is pain. So everybody's pain tolerance and pain threshold is different. I think that this probably ranges from uncomfortable to slightly painful for most people. For me, this is just uncomfortable. It's not, I would never call it painful. It doesn't sting me, it doesn't burn me, and like I said, it doesn't leave any residual irritation. It does make my skin look red after I do it immediately, but it doesn't hurt, it doesn't burn, it doesn't itch. Everyone is different though, so if you do experience some mild irritation or a more pronounced discomfort than I am describing, you're not abnormal. We just have different pain tolerances. But when I got this and I was starting to think about using it, I was scared that it was going to be really painful. So I just feel like it might be a little bit reassuring to someone to hear that it's not really painful, for me at least. And the very last thing I want to mention is that before you use any product like this, before you use any topical product really, it's smart to do a patch test just to make sure you don't have any adverse reactions to it, aren't allergic to anything in it, etc. So that is it. That is all about this product. I really enjoy it and will continue to use it in those areas that I already told you I use it in, just because it has made my life a lot more convenient, honestly. And it's something that I feel a lot more confident in now, which again, I think is very important. Confidence is key. I would love to hear if you've tried this product, what your opinions are on it. If you haven't but want to, you feel more confident after watching this video, I'd just love to hear from you down below. If you have any questions about this at all, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer them, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.